There everyone, welcome back to another edition of Spring DIYs. So I just wanted to show you my cleaning process when doing thrift flips. I always use Goo Gone to remove any tags. Don't worry about the piece to the left. We're going to do that one on Tuesday. And then I use this glass cleaner to clean things because it is a degreaser as well. So it does double duty for me. I'm going to go ahead and take this apart, and let me tell you, this thing was good. They made things good back then. Okay, this is probably not that old, but I'm going to take this out. Unfortunately, I had to throw the backing away because there was like mildew up in there and we did not need to keep that around. So I'm going to go ahead and take that same glass cleaner. I get it from Walmart. And it's super inexpensive and it's amazing. And I'm going to clean the front of the frame and the glass. And then I'm going to take the frame and we're going to take Hazelnut by Waverly. And we're going to coat the front, the back, the sides. Make sure you're covering the back of your items. If they are in rough condition, like if this paint was nice, I would have left the back. It would have been big, no big deal. But because it was scratched up, I didn't want to see the red. I painted it. We are going to do the hazelnut as our base coat because we are going to use crackle. And I think it is the perfect base coat when using white for crackle. Now I'm taking my crackle medium. I get this on Amazon. It's in my store link and description box, and it's specifically for the chalk paint. I try to do one stroke application. You do not want to overlap your crackle medium. And I say this, but I do it later and it doesn't work. I'll tell you about it later. Now, when I get to the detail, I'm trying to kind of stipple it on without overlapping as much as I can because I wanted that piece to be just as crackly as the frame. I also hit the sides with this as well. Now I want to intensify my crackle, so I am getting my heat gun on the hot setting and I am going to start drying it because I want as much crackle as I can. I'm going to take Plaster by Waverly, and again, another chippy brush, and I am trying my best to stick with one stroke application. If you do double strokes, like if I were to paint it and then go over that paint again, it's going to pull up that first layer and look very streaky and not crackly anymore. So again, with the detailed part, I kind of just stipple over it and it cracks so beautifully. I mean, when you do it right, I mean, you can't go wrong with this, okay? And then I am going to apply the heat gun once again, and you can see that crackle coming through so beautifully. Now, I'm going to take the glass piece. This is what we're going to use for our artwork, and I'm going to use Truffle by Waverly. Now, this was my inspiration piece. I don't know if this is the person that made this beautiful piece of artwork, but this is what I was inspired by, and I knew I wanted to take that bunny rabbit from the Roy Cycle decoupage paper and use it. So I'm starting with the truffle. Then I get this copper from Alchemy wax, and I was trying to do like this layering effect, but it just was not working for me at all. And as I'm drying it, I'm like, this is not my vision. Like, I don't like the brown. I don't like that it looks streaky. I don't like it. So I even played with the Alchemy waxes and try to like outline the corners, and I probably stared at this for a while, you guys. I was so lost. And so I set it to the side. I'm going to take my Roy Cycle decoupage paper that I get from Sonnet's Garden and Bloom. Her link is in the description box. And I'm trying to cut as close to the rabbit as I can without getting rid of the detail. Now, I wanted to gift this Roy Cycle paper to one subscriber. You have to be 18 and over, a U.S. resident. Sorry, you guys. And I need you to just comment in the description box, comment in the comments, like the video, and please make sure to read the details in the description box. I will never reply to one of your comments with Telegram asking you to send me money, none of that. So please do not fall for those scammers. I will announce the winner in my community tab from Unicorn Dust Designs. I will ask you guys to edit your comment, whomever is the winner, so that I know it is not a scammer. And I also ask you to email me with your ID so that I know it is you and not somebody pretending to be you trying to get your gift. So please read the details in the description box, like, and comment. Okay, so now that we have our bunny cut out, I then think to myself, you know what? I'm going to take this crackle medium and make these crackle patches. Well, look what I'm doing. I'm layering the crackle. What do I always say? Don't layer the crackle. Well, I decided, I guess, that it was going to work. Well, newsflash, it doesn't work. I take Vintage Green by Folk Art and I start painting over. And right away, I don't see any crackle. And I was, at this point, feeling a little defeated. And I just had this vision. I was so inspired, and I'm starting to feel defeated. But we don't throw anything away on this channel, and we do not give up. So I'm going with it. I take the bunny rabbit. I'm going to take my liquid patina by DIY, and I'm going to start applying the rabbit. Now, I love the liquid patina because it has a thinner consistency than using Mod Podge. Mod Podge is definitely a lot thicker than the liquid patina, and I feel like I get more wrinkles with it. The liquid patina, like I just said, is thinner consistency, so I like working with it more. You could also use polyacrylic too, and that's a thinner consistency and works as well. So I'm putting very light layers on, and then I'm smoothing my bunny down as I go. As I told you, if you watched my previous video working with this paper, if you see a lot of wrinkles, don't be scared, because all you have to do is grab your heat gun, and once you start applying that heat, those wrinkles really start smoothing out. So I'm going to take the liquid patina and I'm going to put it over the entire bunny and the background as well. Now I'm going to take all of these alchemy waxes. I take mahogany, white gold, aged brass, and I think copper. And trust me, you guys, this piece of work took me hours to do. But I finally was like, you know what? I'm going to take my stencil brush. I end up mixing all 4 colors together, and I am going to stipple around the bunny. I really wanted this bunny to be like popping out at you. Like, that is going to be the focus, no doubt about it. So this combo and the metallic really like made Roger, I'm going to name him Roger, pop. Roger's Regal. Yep. So I start doing this all the way around the bunny, and then you can kind of see where that crackle was because it's shiny. I get that metallic, the wax, and I start just kind of putting it staggered in different places, and it almost looks like as if it were wallpaper behind Roger. And I was digging it. Like I was getting excited. I was like, oh my God, this is coming together. I did not mess this up. I was going to be so sad if I messed up this rabbit. Then I was like, that's not enough. I want this rabbit to pop like my inspiration painting did. So I'm going to grab mahogany now. The mahogany and I get all of these waxes from Bondi at paintedheirloom.com. And I'm taking a stencil brush that I've cut like the bristles off of the end so that it's more blunt. And I'm going to go around the inside of what I just did, and I'm going to start outlining Roger. And you can see right away that it starts creating this shadow effect. So I kind of stipple it on, and then I take my finger and I start buffing it out, and then I'll wipe my finger off just so I don't have a lot of excess building up on there. And I even start going like up the legs so that it really transforms this piece. And y'all, I'm sorry this video, like this one DIY is so long, but I really wanted to explain the process so that y'all could create it yourself. Now I'm gonna just take a box because we couldn't use the backing that was in there. I just traced out the backing, and I'm gonna cut a cardboard box so that we have a nice looking background for this. We're gonna pop everything back in the frame, including that cardboard, and we are done with this DIY. And I just want to know, this, you guys, is why I said I need to do things that I'm passionate about, because this makes me so happy. This is by far my most favorite DIY that I have ever done. It really is awesome when you can surprise yourself and wow yourself. And Roger turned out stunning, and he is available on my website for purchase. Now, these candlesticks. I got these at Salvation Army and they were only $2.98 each. And y'all, these are like heavy duty. And I mean, they were pretty and stuff, maybe like for Christmas or, if you're super fancy, they would fit your decor. But after painting Roger, I was like, these have a purpose now. So I'm taking Monet's Garden by DIY, and this color I used a lot during Christmas, but it is not just a Christmas color, y'all. This color is beautiful for all year round. So I am taking my chip brush. I feel like all I use are chip brushes. I shouldn't have to explain that, right? But maybe you're new to the channel. I use chip brushes on everything. So I am stippling that on. I love them because they get into all of the complicated details of pieces. And I am going to take this paint color all the way down this piece. I'm going to do it for both of the candles, and I'm going to let this completely dry up. This dries down to be a beautiful green. Usually the paint color in the bottles of DIY paints are going to look darker than how they dry down. So keep that in mind if you are purchasing and looking at the website. So you can see this totally dries down darker than it looks to the right in the bottle. Okay, sorry you guys, my throat is scratchy. Now that we're done, I am going to wet distress. So you can use a wet towel, a wet paper towel. I prefer the baby wipe, and the look is very easy to achieve. So the more pressure you put on this, the more paint is going to come off. So I just want the top of these details to pop out. I don't want it to be all gold. I want the focus to be green and then have all this beautiful metallic show through so you can really see the details in this beautiful candle. Now, sorry you guys. So I am going to keep distressing this all the way up. And you can see right here, this is not a hard method to use. All I'm doing is rubbing back and forth on it to get the desired paint look, the look that I want. And I am using pretty light pressure when doing this. It is a messy job though, so be prepared if you want to wet distress. Now after this, I am going to coat the entire thing with clear wax by DIY. I want to note that when you use the DIY wax, it's going to look dark, and most times it's going to dry down lighter than it looks when you initially wax it. So just wait the 24 hours and it'll start to lighten back up. Now, it's not going to lighten up like it initially looks like on the bottom when there's nothing on top of it to clear it, but it does lighten up just a little bit. Now, after I'm done applying this clear coat, that's all there is to it. We don't have to apply anything else. And these dry down to be so stunning. And these are my vibe. Like, I do not think that spring has to be pink and blue and like all the bright colors. It can be super regal and sophisticated. These remind me of like the academia vibe that's going on right now. And I could use them during Christmas, but they are for sale on the website.
Hey everyone, happy Saturday. I hope you guys had a very successful and fulfilling week so far. I am very excited because we are still crafting spring. We're going to be crafting spring for a while. And I know I've mentioned this in other videos, but spring is seriously my number one favorite thing to decorate and DIY for. I love Christmas, but I love the colors that you can play with spring DIYs. So I hope you guys are enjoying the videos. I know thrift flips aren't everybody's jam, but that's just what my heart is set on right now. And I'm having so much fun turning somebody's used items into new home decor. And I hope it gives you guys ideas as well, because thrifting is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So I hope that you guys are digging me. I hope you're digging the channel, and I hope you're digging the content. And if you are, then make sure to press that like button and make sure to comment because it's a free way to help me out. I also wanted to remind everybody about my Facebook Lives on Thursday. We also have a membership group. You could click the tab down below and it'll tell you a little bit more about that. And then all of my social media links are down in the description box. Okay, let's go ahead and get back into this video.
For our last DIY, of course I was painting and wasn't recording because I've been doing that in all my videos lately, but I'm so glad you guys know how to paint. So I thrifted this. It was for 50 cents and it was like a white glass, but it had a lot of markings on it. So I painted it with plaster and I was trying to do the layering distress effect that I've done in a couple past videos. So I was doing the plaster and then I went in with hazelnut because now I'm vibing, okay? I want everything to like look like it belongs together. And I started stippling this on, but I found that the Waverly paint reacts a lot differently to wet distressing than the DIY paint does. So again, I used Plaster by Waverly and hazelnut. Now, when I started to wet distress this with the baby wipe, the colors started smearing. So like that top color, it was just smearing over the base color. And then the hazelnut, the top coat, it was a little bit harder to like wet distress. It wasn't coming off as easy as DIY paint. So I was having to rub it a lot harder, which was then making it go all the way down to the original glass color. So I will definitely say that if I'm gonna do this technique and double the paint colors and then wet distress, I'll be using DIY paints because I feel like it definitely gives me a completely different look than the Waverly paint. So I just wanted to put that out into the universe in case anybody wanted to know. But I do distress him. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take some clear wax by DIY, obviously. And I clear him and then I take white wax and I dust the white wax over. And then I take my paper towel and then I wipe the excess off. And initially, I'm like, okay, that works for me. But I hadn't created, I think it was the candlesticks yet or something. So then I'm like looking at this bunny and I'm like, nope, don't like the white. So I take those metallic colors that I used in Roger's picture, and we're going to call that Roger's portrait. And I am dusting that over all of the grooves of the bunny. And this just tied everything in, and it definitely made me happy. It made me happy. The white I just was not feeling, but you can see the like metallic that's kind of shining and defining this little bunny. It just all works. And of course I have to show you, sorry you guys, my throat, all three of these pieces together. I am so excited. I hope this inspires you guys to kind of just think outside your box. And like I said about getting inspired, that original piece was completely different than this one, but I was inspired by it and I completely took it and made it my own. And then it inspired me to create these other pieces, which I love. And I hope that you guys love it. And I hope it inspires you. Take these, make them your own, have fun crafting, think outside the box and just go for it. You have to go for it. Don't save those items you're waiting to craft with. Use them, and hopefully they turn out so beautiful. Thank you guys for spending your time with me once again. I will be back here on Sunday, and then we'll have another DIY video next Tuesday. Have a great weekend.
I'm back, and you obviously probably know this is the same day as the last video because my hair is still done and my makeup's done. Because we know I can't do this 2 days in a row. Okay. All right, let's go. Come on. You need to get shirts that fit you. Look at the difference in that. I'm sure all of us are like this, but like I'm really uncomfortable wearing form-fitted shirts. But it's like these are my workout pants, okay? It's like you see yourself like this, right? But I know if my shirt was like that, I would appear that I'm not as big as I make myself out to be by wearing clothes that are 2 times too big for me. I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. Okay. That's going to be on sale soon. That's going to be on sale soon. And these bigger items, I'm going to have to take to my booth because I don't know how to ship that stuff. I don't know how to ship that without breaking it. Okay. It is not arm leather. Okay. You're beautiful. You're so beautiful. I hope somebody buys you and loves you so much. No. Oh my gosh. Everything is cracked in this house. Everything is cracked. You see the crack right there? We bought this, you guys. We bought this.